The views and opinions on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of ESPN Tucson 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, or the Arizona Lotus Corporation.
Welcome to Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson.
Justin Spears, I like that.
With Justin Spears and Ali Farhang on 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, ESPN Tucson. Brought to you by Tucson Federal Credit Union, the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, and Rightway Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
I want to be entertaining, but I'm not stupid enough to compare myself to Ali.
Happy Hump Day here on Spears and Ali, ESPN Tucson, 1490 AM, and the Spears and Ali podcast.
I must know.
Yeah, we're filming today,
Yeah,
right? And the very beginning of the recording video before we came on the mics is just Justin trying to get the thing to sit still.
And it's my microphone just
Kept
going down. I'm like holding it up. Come on, sit still. But we're good now.
Well, I mean, Roe came out with this thing called Sparks. It's supposed to be, twice as effective. Maybe you should give it to the microphone.
Yeah,
So you have a limp microphone.
Keep it up, man.
Yeah, blue chew for mics.
Keep
Try
my
hymns.
my soldier standing at attention.
Or maybe a screwdriver at the joint. I don't know. One of the two, right?
All right, welcome to Spears and Ali. This Hump Day version of Spears and Ali is presented by
Speaking of hymns,
Tucson Federal Credit Union,
welcome to Hump Day.
the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, and Rightway Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. We appreciate all of our great sponsors here on ESPN Tucson, and it's going to be a fun one over the next couple of hours. Our guy, Brent Brennan, the Arizona football head coach, will be joining us a little bit after 7:20 to talk about the spring showcase coming up here on Saturday, what fans can expect. It's not going to be the traditional spring game where Arizona just splits the team in half. It's like, all right, you guys go on one side, we'll go on the other, and we'll have our scrimmage. In the current landscape with college athletics, players getting hurt, putting, I guess, film out there of certain players, and then you got these teams with the transfer portal opening up officially today.
Right.
There's this weird dynamic of teams poaching players, right? They look at, who's this wide receiver that balled out for 4 touchdowns in your spring game? Hey, listen, if you want to come play for our school, we'll give you more money. And then they poach.
Happen, Justin. Don't be ridiculous.
Come on. Yeah.
That would be inappropriate while they're on scholarship at another school and haven't entered the portal yet. Oh, don't tell me that doesn't happen.
And that's why a lot of teams are canceling their spring games. Like, we're not going to pretty much put out what we got on film so these other schools can come in and take our players.
We're not going to let these journalists come in and divulge all of our secrets.
I know. Well, it was so funny. Speaking of that, so Arizona football, throughout practice, they've been using tight ends and linebackers as the punt wall instead of the big defensive lineman like Big Chuba Ma'ai last year. And poor Chuba Ma'ai, man, he gave it his all trying to chase down that punt returner from Kansas State, running down the sidelines, but he just couldn't do it.
Tell you what, if he caught him though,
I know that'd be impressive, right?
Would have ate him.
But the thing is like you can't have, or you can have it because you can protect the punter, but then you can also see the negative effect of having those guys out there as the punt wall, because if a guy gets out in the open, I mean, a fast wide receiver versus a 300-pound defensive lineman, usually the receiver is going to win that track meet. So Arizona football now is putting out more like linebackers and tight ends, guys that can cover the field a little bit. And I asked Craig Nivar, the new special teams coordinator, about that method and why it works better than the defensive lineman. And he says, I don't recall, Senator. I'm going to keep those secrets in house. And then that was that. I'm like, I didn't feel like that was like I didn't say it like ask for like specific players. I just want to know like what's the benefit of those body types out there. And he was like, nope, I'm keeping my cards close to my chest.
Well, having coached that team before for many years, it makes absolutely no sense to put offensive linemen or really big bodies. You're basically, I mean, sometimes you're not going to get the best punt. Sometimes you might get a line drive. You're not going to get the hang time. And so you've got 7 on 11.
Yeah.
When you've got those big bodies out there, because they're not running their lanes. So also having linebackers and tight ends, if you're ever going to do anything creative and run a fake, you've got more athletic types out there to do so. So Craig Nyvar is my kind of special teams coach, man, because it's just smart. And also, I mean, I've just been watching some of the videos Arizona football's been putting out. I'm not out there like you, Justin, but we can talk about this with Brent. The energy at practice is so much better this year.
Yeah.
And I know I'm watching just snippets, but from Seth Dagey, the offensive coordinator, to Craig Nyvar, to some of the other things I've seen, I just love the level of energy that's out on that practice field in the spring right now for Arizona.
It's different than last year. And last year, there was definitely an excitement because, hey, T-Mac is back, Noah Fafita's back, all these great players are back, but the coaching and I guess the overall culture, it's definitely more of Brent Brennan rather than just Brent Brennan trying to keep the band together as the first-year head coach.
Right. And like just watching Seth Dagey, run offensive practice, then everything is fast. I mean, talk dirty to me. I'm just, I love it, man. You gotta, offensively, you got to put defenses in conflict, and nothing puts a defense in conflict more than going fast, lining up, creating mismatches through motion or whatever. I mean, it's just smart, fundamental football, and such a contrast from like we were like playing out of pea soup last year coming out of the huddle. So I don't know, man. I'm a big fan of Brent Brennan. I think that he's got things more attuned to, like you said, his personality, what he wants out of a coaching staff, and the style of play from the team. And I'm excited, and I'm excited when a guy like Danny Gonzalez, his first message to the defense is, first you stop the run. Got to stop the run. Nothing starts without stopping the run in football and in marriage. If you don't stop the run, then you're going to completely be off balance on defense. But once you establish the line of scrimmage, like in marriage, giving you guys both great advice right now. I just need you to read between the lines. Once you control that line of scrimmage and you control the running game of your opponent, then you make them one-dimensional. Then you can let the dogs loose, man. And then you can go get after that quarterback, pin your ears back. And that's when you create conflict for the offense. So, like I said, man, everything coming out of Arizona football right now is music to my ears.
So you want us to create conflict in our marriage?
I'm really doing my best to read between those lines.
I'm hearing like pin your ears back and attack and create conflict. And I'm like,
yeah, you're not ready for marriage if you don't get it. But there's a lot of people out there going, keep preaching, Ollie, keep preaching.
You got to get to third and long in your marriage.
No,
guys.
no. You want to make the opponent in third and long.
Okay.
And then you want to pin your ears back and create negative plays.
Yeah. 3 yards in a cloud of dust, 4th and 1.
We don't want that. We don't want that.
But coach, it's 4th and 1.
Yeah.
Laps.
Take a lap.
Coach Sicilian ran me to death when I asked him that question.
It's a fair question.
It was a fair question.
It was a very fair
3 yards in a cloud of dust sounds great on paper, but I don't know about you. I mean, in my day and age, we weren't going for it on 4th down. If it was 4th and a millimeter, you're going to punt.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's 3 yards in a cloud of dust, it's 4th and 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's not great. It's
not
going to work.
It's not
going to work. We need 10 yards, not 9.
Yeah.
It's not 1st and 9.
We're going to have Brent Brennan on coming up a little bit after 7:20. And then we're also going to talk about kind of the transfer portal and maybe some positions that Arizona will add. That will be coming up at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. And then Saul Bookman, our guy from All City Network, he'll be calling in to talk about this absolute dumpster fire that is the Phoenix Suns.
We got to keep talking
what's
about the
next
Phoenix
for them.
Suns.
Yeah.
Can we just move on?
Well, they fired Mike Budenholzer, so that's kind of important.
2 minutes after we talked to Espo and talked about that very thing, if Mike Budenholzer was going to get fired. And Espo, the way that he said it with passion and fury, made it happen. Let's spoke it into reality.
Manifested it, man.
He did.
Manifested.
You know what? Espo, it was karma, because he said at the very end of the interview, because he loves me and you, Andrew, but this is more for me and Justin, as a true and tried Suns fan, he hates the Lakers. And he said at the very end, go Lakers, because he knows it would make us very happy if the Lakers made a nice long run.
How about that?
So Espo, it's all about karma. See, Laker karma.
How about that? It'll come around. It'll come around, Espo.
Nah,
Maybe not for the next 10 years, but it'll come around.
It'll come around when you guys get the best players off the Suns.
Yes. Devin Booker. Come
he's
be a
gonna
Laker, man.
I saw a report yesterday that he's looking to sign a 2-year, I don't know, $100 and something million extension, making him a $75 million a year player, solidifying that he's going to be with the Suns his entire career.
Good God, man.
Man, I don't know why I see Devin Booker playing somewhere in the Eastern Conference. I don't know where, but I don't know. Maybe the Suns will get to a point where they trade Kevin Durant, and does Devin Booker request a trade? I don't know. He likes playing for the Phoenix Suns.
I don't think so, man, because his idol is Kobe, and I think it's important for him to be a one city guy. He loves Phoenix, and Devin Booker right now, the way the city feels about him and he feels about the city, I mean, it's jersey in the rafters, maybe a statue. I mean, he's on that track.
I think he's already solidified that.
Well, yeah, but
I mean, he deserves his jersey retired more than Shedeur Sanders at Colorado.
I mean, yeah.
Did he get his jersey?
Yeah,
retired?
you didn't know that? Yeah,
Travis Hunter. Yeah,
Travis Hunter makes sense.
I understand. At least he won the Heisman. But Shedeur? What, he just wear a bunch of fancy watches to the games?
They were 13-12 with Shedeur as their starting quarterback, by the way.
Yeah, but they were the worst program in football before those guys got there, and Coach Sanders. And I'm holding judgment until I see what happens in the NFL draft, because there is a chance the Steelers draft Shedeur Sanders.
There it is.
And if that happens,
I'm not talking about my child like that.
Happens, are you going to buy a Rolex?
He's already got it, like a few.
No comment. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have talking points of why Shedeur Sanders deserves his jersey retired at Colorado.
That's fair.
Now, to be fair, I also think my guy Cordell Stewart, I mean, they won a national championship and had a lot of success at Colorado under Bill McCartney. Cordell Stewart should definitely have his jersey retired. That number 10. So
that's what I'm saying.
No Shiloh?
no Shiloh Sanders.
Yeah, you'd think Dion would be all over the
Dion. First of all, I like Dion a lot, and I think that a lot of things he preaches, both on and off the field, need to be said. Is he arrogant? Sure. Does he say things that are outlandish at times? Sure. But Deion Sanders is coaching these guys and teaching them the right things. If you watch Primetime on Amazon, that all being said, and he also lifted that program. Literally, it was the worst program in all of college football. So yeah, I know 13-12, but I know this. People wouldn't be watching Colorado State at 11 o'clock at night if it wasn't for what the energy and the passion and the interest that Deion Sanders brought to Colorado. So you guys can be all judgy you want.
I'm not judging.
You brought it up. I mean, a lot of people are judging more than you. And I'm just like, you know what? I mean, get a job, man. I mean, do something else. Like everything that happens, you've got a criticism. I mean, I put out a post. I was telling you guys about, I don't know, something about something is great or whatever. Braden Burries, Arizona's new 5-star McDonald's All-American guard. And I'm like, call him Home Depot because that's where you go to get buckets. It's just funny and a joke. And, a guy just feels the need to be like, well, I guess if you really want to be a Tucson guy, I would say Ace Hardware. And I'm like, okay, dude, waffles or pancakes? I mean, you want me to do hashtag Lowe's, hashtag Home Depot, hashtag Ace Hardware?
Hashtag
By the way,
Bucket Store.
I go to Ace Hardware because it is local. It's from Tucson. So, okay, I go to Ace Hardware. It's just, I was thinking of the background music of the Home Depot commercial playing while, like a little video montage of Braden Burries. And it's like, it's where you go to get buckets. Call them Home Depot.
But you don't like the Container Store, Ali?
Is there a Container Store?
Yeah, it's at the Tucson Mall.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So this is like a, crap load of furniture. It's like actually it's named for exactly what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Good job, Container Store.
Yeah. If you got OCD, man, that's the store for you.
Yeah, containers of all sizes.
Put everything you own in a container.
But yeah, the Twitter sphere, it pisses me off so much, like you said, Ollie, because you could say one thing and someone can just cannonball in and be like, well, you say you love pancakes, but what about waffles?
Yeah.
What about French toast? And it's like, guys,
love for crepes.
I love these things, but just because I say I love one thing doesn't mean I hate the others.
I get so
and
many,
and that's Twitter in a nutshell.
I get only 150 characters, man. I get only 150 characters.
180.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
180.
Oh, Mr. Premium.
Yeah.
What, you don't like those 30 extra characters?
All right, we still got to talk about Arizona finalizing and announcing its home and home series with UConn.
Yeah, awesome.
Got a Hurley brother coming to McHale Center in
both
2026.
Hurleys next year.
In the 2026 and 7, I think it is.
I thought it
Yeah.
was-
So this upcoming season,
We're at
it's
UConn
in
November,
UConn.
November 19th.
Yeah.
And then in 2026, it'll be at McHale.
Hell yeah.
So the game in 2026, and then Hurley will be coming early 2027. So that season, Arizona will be getting a couple of Hurley bros.
I thought he was coming 25.
25.
Yeah.
This year, we're going to UConn.
Oh, wait, I'm getting my years
That's
mixed
okay,
up. Yes,
buddy. It happens.
Math.
I do it too.
Journalism.
Yeah. So this year on November 19th, we're going to Storrs, Connecticut and playing UConn there. And then the next year in 26, UConn will be coming to McHale Center. And we're also got a home and home with Auburn, and we got UCLA in Los Angeles. I mean, again, iron sharpens iron. Tommy Lloyd done another incredible job with a schedule that benefits Arizona Wildcat season ticket holders and fans that go to the games, and all fans across the country. So good job, Tommy Lloyd.
I'm not right. ASU, they play against Arizona in 2027.
I don't know what we're talking about right now. So in 25,
Yes,
we're playing Connecticut.
Johnny's got 5 apples.
Right. There's no oranges and the answer here. And then in 26, the Big
Yes.
12 season will start. So we'll play Bobby Hurley and ASU
Yes.
within the same calendar season year, but it'll be technically 26.
Okay.
And then in 26 again, we'll play Dan Hurley. And then in 27 again,
Yes. Okay.
man, we're probably not going to play Bobby Hurley in 27.
No,
Yeah,
you ain't making that far.
No shot.
All right, coming up next on Spears and Ali, Brent Brennan, Arizona football head coach, joins us to talk about the Red Blue Spring Showcase. Stick around. Spears and Ali back on ESPN Tucson. Saturday night, we've got the Arizona Football Spring Showcase. It's the annual Red Blue Spring Showcase, and you can expect a beer garden. There's going to be an Easter egg hunt for kids. There's also going to be a movie played after the Spring Showcase. It's going to be a very interactive event for Arizona football fans and the Arizona football program. Should be a good one Saturday afternoon. And we got the guy, the man, the myth, the legend, Brent Brennan, head coach of the Wildcats, joining us here on ESPN Radio. Good morning, Brent. How's it going?
Going great, man. It's great to hear from you guys. I love the James addiction to start this thing off. Got me going.
Heck yeah, man.
All right, yeah. We're
Andrew.
all about motivation, man. We've been watching a lot of John Gruden videos lately, so we're well taught. Hey, Brent, I'm wondering, man. Thanks for being on, and I'm always interested in the mental side of the game from a coach's perspective. And I know this spring you got a new offensive coordinator, Seth Dagey, and Danny Gonzalez has taken over the defense, and you're implementing the basics and the foundations of what you guys are going to do when the season kicks off. But the spring to me is also a time for team building. How important is team building for you during this period of the year?
Well, I think it's a huge part of it because, and maybe never been more important than it is now because you have so many new players coming in and out of your program, right? It's, with the transfer portal and just I think we said we brought in 34 new players in January, and we'll bring in probably another 15 in June, so like the massive turnover on your roster, it's never been more important to find ways to help your team connect in places other than like the football field or the weight room.
Talking with Arizona head football coach Brent Brennan here on Spears and Ali. So Brent, the spring has come down to this. It feels like, man, the last month has just gone by in the snap of the fingers. What's it been like for you just watching your team grow over the last few weeks, and how much are you looking forward to the spring game coming up here on Saturday?
I'm excited for Saturday because I think it's going to be a great day for our fan base. I think that part of it's going to be a lot of fun because there's going to be so much going on. You mentioned the Easter egg hunt and the beer garden on the field, but there's going to be like a kid zone and face painting and just like, how much stuff can we kind of cram into one day that gives our fans and our students a chance to be around our team, see our team play, and get excited about Arizona football. And that's what we got live music. We got a band that's going to be playing. So there's all kinds of action. Yeah. I can't wait.
So just out of curiosity, there's a beer garden down on the field. And, when Brent Brennan decides to crack a cold one, what's the beer of choice for you?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say, being a big fan of the Tucson local scene, I'm going to go Barrio Blonde all the way.
Now that's a great answer to a relatively mediocre question, to be fair. But come on.
No.
Hey, Brent. When you got here, we've talked about it before when you've been on. I mean, just drinking out of a fire hose, so many things to do. Now you've had a year. How important has it been to have that full off season for you going into the 2025-26 season?
I think it's been great. I think it's been great for our team. I think it's been great for our coaching staff. I know it's been really, really good for me, just because we've been able to kind of continue to fine tune and streamline what we do and what we're trying to get done. The buy-in from the players has been outstanding. The vibe at practice, like that part of it has been really, really positive. I think, I mentioned it when, my first press conference was spring ball. Tough guys, love football, want to be here at the University of Arizona. And I feel like we've got a really good group of young men that can answer yes to all those three things. And so that's moving us forward in a great direction. And practice has been competitive. I mean, Justin's been out there a bunch. It's been highly competitive. We've had a bunch of live work. And, so I'm excited about the progress. We still got a ways to go. The portal opens today, roster management, acquisition, retention, the chaos of it all. But hey, we are all about living the red line, and we're going to keep attacking this thing.
And speaking of the portal, what has the communication been like with your team now that it's officially here? Like, what are those conversations with guys that are on the team? And also, how do you just look at, maybe some of the pieces that you could add to polish off your roster?
Well, I think that's a very, very complicated and very individual conversation. You know what I mean? That's not a blanket conversation because every player is different. Every player could have different opportunities, or every player might not want to do that at all. Right. So, those are one-off conversations or one-on-one conversations with their position coach and or me. And those are all, something that we take serious because what we've said is that we are trying to build this program. We want to build a championship program with guys that want to be here. And if guys are flirting with the portal, right, that's telling us that they don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And so that part of it is something that we, continue to work through as a staff. I have no idea what's going to happen in the next 10 days in terms of our current roster. And honestly, there's no way you can, Justin. Yeah. There's no way, because the conversations that are happening are all through agents and third parties and kind of backdoor. So we're just trying to over communicate with our players and make sure that everybody's being straight up and transparent with each other. And, and if we're going to build a championship program, we got to trust each other and we got to be able to communicate at a high level. And if guys are having those thoughts, we got to be able to talk about it. So obviously it just started today and we've been having those talks for a couple of weeks with our players.
I'm wondering if you could maybe shed some light on this for what you can share. What is it like being able to recruit, but also you're not only talking to kids and their parents, but like you said, you're talking to these third parties and agents. What's that like from your perspective as a head coach?
It runs the gamut, to be honest with you. Some of the agents we're talking to are incredibly high level, incredibly reputable, very, very experienced people in that line of work. And then some people are just kind of newbies and in some cases taking advantage of the young men that they say they represent. And so obviously this is all new and it's all accelerating very quickly on both our players, our coaches, and just on college football in general. So there's a whole bunch of people that have entered the marketplace trying to make a quick buck off of the young men that play the game. And I think that can be maybe the ugly part of it.
Yeah.
But like I said, every case is extremely individual. And so that's why as we work through it, the guys that want to be a part of this thing and want to build this thing, that's who we're going to move forward with.
Sounds like you need a high-powered lawyer and a master negotiator as the Arizona Wildcat football GM. And I'm just going to tell you, Mike Lombardi's got nothing on me, Coach.
You're ready, are you?
Ready.
Yeah.
Ready. Hey,
I mean, like, and those are some of the ways that people are solving some of these things, right?
Yeah.
Like they're just throwing a ton of cash at things, and sometimes that's how things get done too, right? Like if you're going to pay a general manager, $1.5 million, like that's a commitment to do that. So everybody's doing it different ways. Everybody's some models are a little bit more of the pro model because of the portal and the acquisition and the retention of players becoming more of a focus and not really recruiting high school players as much. And then some people like us are going to be more developmental, and we're going to build this thing with guys who are here for 3, 4, 5 years. And through that process, their development will help put us in a place to contend for conference championships.
And you hit on a really interesting point, Brent, which is, with the transfer portal, and Rick Pitino, the head basketball coach at St. John's, said this after the tournament. He's like, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to recruit maybe 1 or 2 freshmen, but it's all portal. We want to win every year. Are there high school kids getting left behind right now with the state of college football and the transfer portal that, there's a lot of talent out there that's maybe not getting on teams? Is that one of the consequences of our new age of football?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because when you consider that, I think we're signing 24 high school kids in this class, which is one of the bigger numbers of high school players that I know. But most teams are in the 12 to 15 range. So that's like 15 to 20 kids that would have normally gone to every school in the country from out of high school. So there's a lot of young people that the path to playing major Division I football, playing at a school like the University of Arizona, in some ways has changed because of the portal.
Going back to the product on the field, now that you've been able to see Seth Dagey and quarterback Noah Fafita work over the last few weeks, how does this new style of offense maximize what Noah is able to do as a quarterback?
Well, first of all, I think it's really fun to watch them interact in practice or in the meeting room. Just quarterback to quarterback. Coach Dagey is the kind of guy that really likes to challenge the offense, challenge players, and challenge Noah. And Noah just really is leaning into that. To watch him just like kind of orchestrate, and you see his progress accelerating as he gets more reps. Right? As he gets more turns and he gets more reps in Coach Dagey's scheme, you're starting to see him execute at a higher and higher level. So it's been a lot of fun. I think his decision-making, his ability, his quick release, his ability to distribute the ball to every spot on the field is going to make this stuff a lot of fun that we're running now.
And defensively, man, it's been really fun to watch those guys up front with the defensive line led by Joe Salavea and, of course, Danny Gonzalez and his staff coaching up the linebackers. What have you seen from that side of the ball? And what do you think is going to be the identity of the defense when it's all said and done?
Well, I think that part is exciting for me because I had to play against that or coach against that defense a bunch of times in my last job. And so I know what it can be. I think it's a really aggressive style of defense, lots of pressure, lots of blitzing. Like, it's a defense that loves to get after the quarterback. There's going to be enough coverage variation to keep people off guard. And I think because you're jumping in and out of a 3 and 4 down front, and there's a little bit of variation, I do like the idea of us being a little bit different than our opponent and than what you see every week, right? And so that part of it, I think, is going to be something that's really positive for us as we continue to develop players in the positions that we need to make that defense go, and then also recruit and develop players that are going to help us accelerate it. So I'm fired up for the defense. I know Coach Gonzalez is a fantastic football coach, incredible leader. You should see how he's pushing those guys out there. And the guys are loving it. Guys are flying around, making plays.
And, that's another interesting point, Coach. They talk about it's always this day and age of players versus the way they were. But at the end of the day, players want to be coached, right? They want to be pushed to be their very best.
They absolutely do. They absolutely do. Players, like, in my opinion, they need 3 things. They need love, structure, and discipline. Yeah. And that's our job to put those things in place for them and to do it with the consistency that helps them move in the right direction every day that they're here as part of our program. And so far, this has been an awesome spring, you guys. Like, the players are attacking the work. The vibe in the locker room is incredibly healthy. Like, everybody is all in on moving forward together. And so that's why the portal stuff is nerve-wracking, because you're like, well, you don't want somebody to disrupt all this momentum we have with our team, with Redline, with our process here.
Hey, Brent, I'm wondering, anybody that knows you even a little bit knows you eat, sleep, and drink football. You love football, and you just, we just said the showcase is Saturday, end of spring ball, but the transfer portal just opened today. As a human being, we all need our downtimes. As a head coach of a Division I program like Arizona, do you ever actually get some downtime so you can just recharge?
No.
I would say a little bit. I was like a little bit in July.
Okay.
A little bit in July.
I was thinking
it is an important time because, like, you need time with, time to be a dad, time to be a husband, time to, definitely recharge, because once you get into the season, it's really a 7-day a week 14 to 16 hour a day job. And that's fine because you love it. I love it. It's awesome. I love coaching at the University of Arizona. I love these players and this coaching staff we have here. I love what we're doing. So you're all in on it all the time. But every now and then you do need to take a break so that you can make sure you have the right energy to get the job done.
Got a couple more for you, Coach. We got the NFL draft coming up here. Handful of Wildcats are expected to get drafted. How much are you looking forward to that time? And what do you think that's going to do it, for the program as far as, just celebrating players going to that next level?
I think it's so cool. I think it's really neat that those young men are going to have a chance to fulfill that dream, for so many players. Like, they all say they want to play in the NFL. And so now to have, those guys get that chance and fulfill that dream, because obviously everyone's talking about T-Mac and Big Jonah, but Tyler Loop's in that mix, and Jacory's in that mix. And so it's going to be fun to see what's next for all those guys. And it starts on Thursday, and we're going to have a good team building event around the draft. I can't wait. We're all going to go watch it together, and it's going to be a great night.
Okay. And then, lastly, I'm sure you've probably gotten this question a lot as far as like the spring game, why it's not the traditional scrimmage. How can you elaborate on why so many colleges are going away from the traditional spring game?
Well, I think the biggest reason is because collectives are watching spring games and agents, and then they're approaching players through direct message on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram. And then they're trying to recruit them off rosters based on what they saw in the spring game on television. Yep. And so it's created kind of this shady niche where all of a sudden rosters are getting destroyed because of someone played really well in the spring game and somebody saw it on social media or on television. And so and then I think also it's different. There's the idea, like, it's such a fine line, you guys, about how much do we tackle and play live and how much do we protect our team? And the hard part is I get it. Our fans want to see Noah Fafita throw touchdowns in Arizona Stadium. But my thing is, like, I want to see him throw touchdowns in Arizona Stadium in September and October and November and December. You know what I mean? So yeah. April is not as big of a thing because of the injury risk. You know what I mean? So we try to be really smart about that. We're really smart about the sports science and taking care of our bodies and all these things with our strength and conditioning staff and our training staff. But the spring game has definitely changed because of the poaching of players through back channels and kind of shady dealings.
Yeah. And then
also just with the investment in the players.
Well, one man's opinion, I don't know what you really gain out of a spring game versus, I think what you're doing is brilliant. I mean, the engagement with the community is 100 times more important than, guys playing a fake game for, an hour and a half. I will tell you, I'm working on Justin on the love, structure and discipline. Love is okay. Structure we're working on. Discipline may be a problem. I mean, it may need to bring you in.
We need more of that red line.
Your show's good. You guys are killing it. We all need more red line. We need more
red line in our life.
Yeah. It's like your editor when you write a story, what it looks like when you get it back, a bunch of red lines.
Red lines.
Yeah.
That is Arizona head football coach Brent Brennan joining Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson. The Red Blue Spring Showcase is this Saturday at 6 o'clock. I think doors open at 5:30 or just after 5 o'clock. So get there early, get your seat, and go have some fun with the Arizona Wildcats. Brent, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it, man.
It was great talking to you guys. Bear down.
Bear down. Thanks, Coach.
Good stuff there. Again, 6:05. Get there a little early. Arizona Red Blue Spring Showcase.
It's supposed to get like
Saturday.
10 degrees cooler in the next couple of days, too. So the weather's going to be beautiful on Saturday.
Beautiful. Yeah. All right, stick around. We got more Spears and Ali coming up next. Yacht Rock, baby.
Yeah, and then that last segment when I asked you a question about where you're going to buy a ticket, did you call me Guy?
I did call you Guy.
Yeah.
That's
a veiled aggressive word for you.
Guy?
When you end a sentence with blah 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 guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's other words that you can fill in the blank that it means the same thing. So
that's
sorry for offending you, guy.
Yeah. That's my that's coming from how to explain it. The inspiration behind that is my old football coach at Cienega, Niemer Hassie. He was a big.
Was he a guy?
He was a guy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Come on, guy. You can't do that.
By the way, I don't know what we're doing now, but I can I can definitely bring Dan in. Dan Nentl, other than being Pirate Dan, the thing that he is an expert at with a 99.4% accuracy rate, you can name any player that plays any call it pro or basketball or football, and he'll tell you where they went to college.
His college? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, we should have kept him in here.
We didn't play the ultimate game.
Damn it.
I'll grab him right now if you want.
You know what? Go get him, because we got just a couple of minutes left here, and I want to be able to test our guy Dan Nentl's knowledge,
Yeah,
because
90 seconds.
Because I have a couple of guys in mind that I think I can stump the Schwab here.
Dan, I just told him that 99.4% accuracy rate can name any pro football or basketball player, and Dan Nentl will know. I'm good at it. No, dude, but he is awesome. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Okay, so my first one is Jordy Nelson. Where did Jordy Nelson go to school?
Green Bay Packer, Kansas State.
Wow.
See?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. I got one more for you. One more. All right. Steve McNair.
Elkhorn State. You got this.
Okay.
Dude, you got this. Justin.
All right.
Vanilla, scoop of chocolate. Don't waste our time, Spears.
Have a good day, Dan. You're the man. Pirate Dan.
He's good, man.
Man. You know, that's a fun game. And you know what's so
mad impressive.
That's what I love about
dudes, man.
We could just get together and just
Dan will have a beer and could spend hours. We do that back and forth, maybe more than one beer, but it's like
have a pirate.
That's all. We just go back and forth. We play golf together on Friday. I think like for 3 holes straight. That's all we talked about.
All right, let me see if I can test you.
I don't have 99.4% accuracy rate, but I did know both Jordy Nelson and Steve McNair.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about Antoine Randall L?
Indiana. Come on, dude. Don't name a Steeler. Like that's
all the Steelers.
Third round, Indiana.
Okay.
Okay.
Dude, he knows where the janitors went to school. Like,
yeah.
Don't test him with that.
Yeah.
Impressive stuff. And all right, that'll do it for hour number 1 of Spears and Ali. That was a lot of fun. We just did an interview with Arizona head football coach Brent Brennan. If you missed that, check it out on the Spears and Ali podcast, also on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and comment today. Coming up next at hour number 2, we're going to run it back, talk about Arizona versus UConn in the next couple of years, talk about a Arizona women's basketball recruit coming to Tucson, and we'll also talk U of A football and the transfer portal. Should be a good one. Stick around. What's good, everyone? Welcome to hour number 2 of Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson, 1490 AM, and the Spears and Ali podcast. We are on Apple, Spotify. Please subscribe, rate, and comment today. And check us out on the Spears and Ali YouTube page. Go to YouTube, look up Spears and Ali, look for our beautiful faces, and then hit that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. We're ascending on the YouTube platform.
Yeah.
We're putting out more videos.
Right direction.
We're getting more subscribers. We are heading towards the end zone. We are moving the ball.
We've got some very, I think, humorous posts coming out soon. I think you'll like it. Something to do with sheet cake.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And what would Justin do with sheet cake
It's the best.
if it got thrown at him?
I would definitely consume some of it.
There's 2 moves. 99.9% of the human beings, their first move is to wipe the sheet cake off of their face. Then there's Justin Spears, whose first move is to cradle as much of the sheet cake as he can so it doesn't fall to the ground so he can consume it.
Especially if it's a good Costco sheet cake. Hey, man. It's there.
Jumping out of the crowd like an alligator.
Yeah.
Like when they do that.
Telling no lies.
Yeah.
It's like he, like caught the 500th home run of Aaron Judge, and he's like running through the crowd so nobody tries to take any sheet cake.
Yeah.
Like when they catch like the momentous ball
Mhm.
in like a baseball game,
Yeah.
people are like, they're fighting over it,
Mhm.
and security's got to take them, usher them out so nobody does anything stupid. That's Justin at the Pima County Fair with sheet cake.
Yeah.
He's just running out.
Except everyone's making a path so they don't get any cake on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that not in his mind.
Yeah.
He's like, mine.
He's hissing
This
at
is
people.
mine. Don't you dare put your finger in that cream.
And everyone's just like backing up, like, okay,
Yeah.
you got it, man.
Yeah, that's your. I don't even like sheet cake.
That's all you. Especially like people are like, oh, yeah, cake, as if I can't walk 50 feet to the other way and get a piece of cake or deep fry
You
something
got to
at the
pay
fair.
$10 for it.
That is true.
Which makes
mine's free.
Which makes your whole mentality so bizarre, right? Because that's what most people are thinking. Like, make a path. I don't need any of your sheet cake, bro. All right, guy. Yeah. I don't want sheet cake that's been all over your ginger face, guy. It's all yours.
Oh man. All right, let's talk some notable local headlines happening over the last day or so. First and foremost, Arizona women's basketball got another recruit, Michaela Purdue. She's the Horizon League Player of the Year. She averaged 20 points per game at Cleveland State last year. And so, yeah, Arizona getting its second recruit in the transfer portal after hiring head coach Becky Burke. The other one is Nolani Cornfield, the guard from Buffalo, who's following Becky Burke to Tucson, Arizona. So Arizona, they got a couple of recruits in the transfer portal. Still lots of room to grow. Still lots of players that will be added. I'm curious to see what's going to happen if Lawrence Swan ends up deciding, maybe I should stick around at Arizona, or Montea Dew. Like, she's the only scholarship player still on the roster. Is she going to enter the portal, or is she going to stick around and play at Arizona? But Becky Burke's hitting the ground running. She's already got a couple of recruits, and many more will be added in the near future.
All right. So just my nature to ask questions. So I'm going to ask a question. You don't have to answer me. Kim Doss, I think her name is. She covers Arizona women's basketball. Does a good job.
Yeah.
So if Maya Naji truly just left the team to focus on going to medical school, why has she been on scholarship for the last year and a half?
Yeah. That's a very, very good point.
Just back to what we've talked about before. But anyway, just asking questions.
But anyways, Arizona women's basketball is
it's good. Becky Burke is doing a great job. Yeah,
they're building.
Good get. And I look forward to seeing. I loved her press conference. I love her energy. I've never met her. I haven't met her yet. But man, like I said, it's just all the things that you got to go through, just moving your family and now building a roster, building a coaching staff. I mean, she's got a lot of work ahead of her, but man, I on paper, it looks like this is a great addition to the women's basketball team.
Well, and also, have you seen her arms? She got some guns.
I was talking about the player.
Becky Burke's yoked, man.
She's spent some time in the weight room.
She's definitely bearing arms in beautiful Arizona.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's a very fit.
And honestly, I think that the players that she's adding to her roster. No, I mean, honestly, when I saw her throw out first pitch at the Arizona baseball game, I was like, damn, Becky's got some
way better than Ali.
No,
it wasn't better than your pitch.
I didn't see it, but mine was pretty good.
It was.
It was first pitches. I mean, mine was.
I don't know. The video Jordan Ham has says otherwise.
No. Give me a break.
It wasn't 50 Cent, but it was.
I smoked it right down the middle, baby.
You did.
Yeah.
Other news regarding Arizona basketball on the men's side of thing, they officially announced the home and home series with the Yukon Huskies, the team that has won a couple of national championships in the last few years. And I'm excited for this series. One, because you got another Hurley brother coming to Tucson, Arizona next year, which gets me super excited. And honestly, this one might be crazier than Bobby Hurley. Honestly, I think Danny Hurley is actually crazier than Bobby. And Yukon is a great basketball team, and it's only going to add to the really tough non-conference schedule that Arizona already has. Like, they're playing UCLA next year. They're going to be playing against the University of Alabama, right? A team that went far in the NCAA.
Is it Alabama or Auburn?
Oh, Auburn. Excuse me, Auburn.
Same state.
Yeah. And they're playing Auburn in a home and home series. So they're going to have some really good non-conference games, including UConn, and they got to go on the road for the first one. So they got to go all the way to the East Coast, see if they can win that one, and then they got to go to Big 12 play. And what we saw from last year or this past season, Houston, Kansas, Baylor, Texas Tech, like I can go down the whole list of really good teams in the Big 12. And I think a team that's really going to take a huge step forward in this upcoming season is BYU.
Oh, yeah.
With the recruiting class that they have and Kevin Young and the amount of money they are pouring into their the basketball program at BYU. Like, BYU is on the ascension. All these other teams are on the rise too. Big 12 is in a really good place. And then Arizona basketball, the elite program that it is, that's in a good place. and they're bringing in some heavy hitters to Tucson, Arizona, and also going to other arenas too.
If you're the Suns who just fired their head coach, Mike Budenholzer, do you kick the tires on Kevin Young, the head coach of BYU?
I mentioned that yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, because he's a young coach. He understands the NBA model.
Yeah, he's a really good coach.
He's got some experience too, and like you said, he's a good coach. So I would do it. But I look at also some of the other options around, like Taylor Jenkins, the guy that just got fired from the Memphis Grizzlies. Mike Malone is available from the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, but those separations of employment, there's more to the backstory that I think is those guys might need a year to kind of repair their reputations. I mean, like Denver, I'm hearing it was like the worst kept secret in NBA circles of what a toxic locker room they had and how much. But
was it a toxic locker room, or is it just an issue between him and the GM?
Well, those guys didn't talk, but I mean, when you are at that position and you can't even communicate with who should be your partner to make your team better, that's a problem, man. I don't know. I mean, Mike Malone doesn't get fired from Denver unless Nikola Jokic gives it the thumbs up.
Yeah.
And when your best player's like, yeah, it's probably time for him to go, that's a bigger issue than just not talking to your GM.
I think San Antonio could use a guy like Mike Malone. I think, like you said, maybe taking a year off to reset, be the successor to Greg Popovich, lead the San Antonio franchise. I don't know.
Mike Malone fan club here. I don't know.
I think Mike Malone's a good coach.
Yeah, I don't know. It's but I think there was things going on that if he was as difficult to work with as some people have reported, then I don't know. I mean, look, he's going to be just fine for the next few years, still making his contract. I think Budenholzer, if he doesn't work over the next 4 years, I think he makes like $40 million.
Oh, yeah. By the way,
not coaching.
Apparently, Arizona is playing Alabama next year.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, they're in Birmingham.
Ooh, so is Auburn the year after?
So no, Auburn. They're playing Auburn and Alabama in the same season.
Let's go.
Yeah,
how about that?
Yeah.
So yeah,
that season's going to be insane.
So right now, they are playing UConn on the road in Storrs, Connecticut. The game against Alabama will be in Birmingham on December 13th.
All right.
And then the game against Auburn is exactly a week before on December 6th. That is in McHale Center. And then the other non-conference game that's scheduled is Bucknell. Good old rematch of the NIT.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually really interesting. As an Arizona fan, I've been dying for real games. Like, if this is a big time program and we're going to have big time players, then we need to be playing in big time games.
Yeah.
And the Pac-12 doesn't offer what the Big 12 does. So we got big time games in the Big 12, and we've got now big time non-conference for guys that pay a lot of money, like myself, for season tickets. Those are the games I want to watch. And I find myself going, great job, Tommy. Maybe like Cal State Irvine's not such a bad ad. Maybe
let's play Coppin State.
Yeah, maybe a Coppin State here and there. Like, we just for the record, I don't know. But
screw the record.
With the kind of roster that it looks like we're going to have, and I know Carter Bryant is still a question mark, but I feel at this point very confident in him returning. Man, those are the kind of games that you need for this team to be ready for March. And not just ready for March, but ready for the Big 12 season.
Yeah.
So I just give so much credit to Tommy Lloyd and this coaching staff for understanding how important it is to play big time games if you're going to have a big time program and big time players. And you know what? Those players that we recruit, it's a selling point. It's like, you're going to be playing in the biggest games of the year. Like, this is who we play.
Yeah.
Like, the spotlight's going to be on you. You have dreams. Well,
I'm in the nightmares.
No,
that too.
You have dreams. Those dreams are going to be easier to kind of come to fruition if actually people are watching you play.
Yeah.
And we're on the national stage, baby. So I think it's cool.
I'm hoping they're ready for March, and even more so, I hope they're ready for April.
I feel good, man. If
you're playing basketball in April, that's a good sign.
Yeah. I'm penciling. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to pencil in my reservation. I'm going to make a hotel reservation for Indy for the Final Four, like
today,
in the next month, just to have it. I can cancel it.
Yeah, man.
And I'm wondering though, what the reaction is going to be like if Arizona struggles in non-conference play, because that was a big concern. Everyone's like, man, this team doesn't look like they're a tournament team. Now, in fairness to Arizona fans, there were some legit concerns for the team in non-conference play, but they also played against some really good teams, right?
Well, that and, a lot of the team was built around having that big man in the middle of Mo Krivas. And, Tommy had to, once Mo went down, he had to fiddle with some stuff to kind of find the right recipe. And he did with Henry Vasar and Toby Awaka. I'm just going to tell you right now, there's going to be ups and downs, and everything is not going to be like panacea from the start. I mean, you've got potentially at least 2 freshman starters that are going to be playing. It takes time for these guys to be able to learn how to play together, for Tommy to figure out the right recipe, to figure out rotations, to figure out different, what to do in certain times. So there's going to be some rough seas in the beginning, but this is what, I mean, those things that we encountered this year, being 4-5, losing that game that we shouldn't have lost to UCLA, Wisconsin, Duke. That's why we went toe to toe with Duke in the Sweet 16, and a couple of, 3 minutes of different basketball, and Arizona's in the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
So
not even like 90 seconds.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's steel, what iron sharpens iron, man. You need those experiences. You need adversity. You need conflict in order to be better. And
just like in marriage,
again, there's a lot of marriage advice going on right now. Yeah.
So wait, we're giving out marriage advice, and the analogy is stop the run and have a tough non-conference schedule.
Yep. Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's exactly what we're saying.
I mean, box out, make sure you win the rebounding advantage, and you're good on your rotations on defense.
Yeah.
If you don't understand, you're not ready, Justin.
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you.
That one I actually do get.
Yes, I know you do. It's been over a year, Andrew.
Yeah.
Every time I say it, the longer you're married, the more and more the light goes on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you feel about the front court for Arizona? And I've been trying to figure out what the plan is, right? I'm not good buddies with Tommy Lloyd like you. I don't know what's going on in his head, but Mo Krivas or Toby Awaka, or could it be a situation where Toby Awaka is the starter and Mo Krivas kind of works his way back and eventually takes it over? I don't think it doesn't matter who's starting at center. It's like, okay, what would you rather prefer? Vanilla ice cream or pistachio ice cream?
Pistachio.
Me too.
Vanilla is like just vanilla.
Okay, well, how about
vanilla is no good unless you put something on vanilla.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how about
that's your favorite?
Can I ask you a question? Let's not go into a food debate. All right.
Okay. Half baked is my favorite ice cream. Is that Ben and Jerry's? Yeah.
I thought that's your favorite state of mind.
It's a funny movie too.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle.
You know what the real answer to your question is, buddy? Tommy Lloyd doesn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't even practiced together yet. Does Toby Awaka and Mo Krivas start and Koa Pete come off the bench? We've all penciled in Koa Pete as a starter.
Yeah.
Right. Does Aristode come in and show something that is like, this guy's got, he can't just be off the bench. We got to start. He doesn't know, but he's going to figure it out.
It's a good problem.
Mean, it's a good problem to have. And the way you deal with it is through rotations, whether you start or don't start, rotations and playing time. And, this team, bringing them together and having a team mentality and, cheering for the next guy more than you cheer for yourself. Those are things that are developed in practice and, the time together. So we have a lot of good players. And the one thing of many things that Tommy Lloyd has my trust is he's going to figure it out. And we're going to have whatever our best starting 5 at some point, and we're going to have a really good rotation with a bench. I think we added Evan Nelson as a backup point guard. There may be one more portal addition, maybe for some depth in the front court. I don't know, but
lots of good flavors of ice cream.
I love your colleague Bruce Pascoe. But the funniest, when we were in the Middle East and playing in YMCA's against the the YMCA A team of Jerusalem. Pasco's asking Tommy about rotations. It's like, dude, we're just out here playing basketball.
Dude, we're playing against the Abu Dhabi Camels, man. Like, We're not worried about rotation.
This is like an international goodwill. It's a goodwill mission, bro. Don't worry about rotations right now. So yeah, I don't know, but I know that I expect, if I had to guess right now, I think Mo Krivas is supremely talented, probably going to start, and Toby's going to come in and back up him and Koa. And I think Koa will start, but it's right now we got all the ingredients and they're on the counter.
Let's make some ice cream, man.
Tommy has yet to start cooking. So we'll see how it looks once we get the process going.
What is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Jamocha almond fudge, Baskin Robbins.
Good man.
Yeah.
Wow. And that came right off the dome.
That is solid. Jamocha almond fudge.
Yeah. Like the superior ice cream.
Man of culture. Man of culture.
I guess. I like Jamocha. I like almonds and I like fudge. If that makes me an international man of mystery, so be it.
All right. Like I said, Arizona finalizing that home and home series with UConn. That first game will be on November 19th, 2025.
Over under 1.5 technicals on men with the last name Hurley in McHale Center.
Ooh.
It's a half. Oh, for both.
For both in the following season.
1.5.
You like both of them getting one.
1.5 is the over under.
Yeah.
So
you taking the over, you taking the under. Next 2 years, Hurley's in the
next 2 years?
Yeah.
Over
2?
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. Or over
we're talking 4 games?
Talking 3 games.
Okay, but that's next 2 years is 4 games. Because 25 we're in Stores, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Dan Hurley. And then we get the Big 12 and 26.
But in McHale.
Just listen to me. And then we play ASU twice. Oh, and McHale, you're right, 3 games.
Yeah.
So I was lecturing you and I was wrong. Let me reel that back in. Let me put that fish back in the bucket. Yeah, still 1.5.
Yeah. So you like the over?
I still like the over.
Okay.
I'll take the under, and it's only Bobby.
Only Bobby.
Danny will keep his cool. And I think, honestly, the referees have more respect for Danny because he is Danny Hurley a little bit.
Maybe.
And so, yeah, and I think Bobby will unravel, get that technical. By the way, my favorite Bobby Hurley fact, he's got more technical fouls than wins against Arizona. 5 techs, 4 wins.
Yeah. Do you think
Are we gonna get
does ASU's basketball team have a roster
No.
right now?
Nope. Not really. All right. We got to talk some more basketball. NBA playoffs, Arizona basketball.
I feel really bad for them.
Spears and Ali back on ESPN Tucson, 1490 AM, and the Spears and Ali podcast. The transfer portal is officially open today, and it'll close on April 25th, but that's only for new entries. You can be in the portal and be in there as long as you'd like to, leading up to the season, and then choose your school. This transfer portal period isn't going to be, knock on wood, as chaotic as it was in December for the Arizona Wildcats. Arizona they were tied for the second most departures in the transfer portal at 29 players, albeit several of them came back. Guys like Genesis Smith, Dalton Johnson, Traden Stukes. So they were able to retain some of those guys who entered the portal, but they also did lose a lot of players. They also did add a ton of players in the December portal period as well. So the December portal is just absolute madness. It's absolute chaos. The spring one, there is going to be some interesting twists and turns, but it won't be as crazy as it was in December. And, it's inevitable for Arizona to have some guys enter the transfer portal and some of these guys could be transfers that came in December. Like their time at Arizona could only last for a few months because they come into Tucson, they see where they're at on the depth chart, they see the writing on the wall. And, some of these guys, they're going into their final year of eligibility and they want to get that playing time, whether it's at a Power 4 school or a Group of 5 school. So some players at Arizona are going to see where they're at with this team. I don't really think some of these decisions are going to be financial based. You never know, right? There's probably other teams out there that are, trying to backdoor their way into getting a player like Genesis Smith or Dalton Johnson or whoever. But I feel like for the most part, these guys that are going into the portal from Arizona this time around, it's going to be those guys that are probably going to be 3rd or 4th stringers with the Wildcats. We'll see.
I don't know. I mean, usually I've got my finger on the pulse of why things are the way they are from a legal perspective, whether it's paying players or NIL or, I know the transfer portal you can't restrict players' movements. But why 2 transfer portals?
And that's the question that Brent Brennan asked. I mean, we need to get to a point where it's just one.
Is there 2 transfer portals because that's what coaches want? Because I mean, I don't think it's an antitrust violation or any kind of illegal act if you just had 1 transfer portal. And I understand they want to have. I mean, I think sometimes coaches. I'm not saying Brent Brennan. They want their cake and eat it too. They want to have some sort of continuity and less chaos. But I think they're their own enemies, because I think it's like, okay, we have it in December, so these guys can come on campus and be part of the program from the beginning. Because God forbid, if they came in the summer like it used to happen, we're not going to be as good. All right, so you're doing it in December while teams are preparing for bowl games or the college football playoff. And then you do your spring game or spring practice, and you have it right then too, because you want to fill holes that maybe you guys aren't as strong in some areas. So I wonder, is there true transfer portals because of, there's a legal requirement to have to? I don't think so.
No, because all the other sports got one.
I think
football's the only one.
I think it's the football coaches. So why don't the football coaches get together, and maybe we do need a football czar. We really do. And just say, we got 1 transfer portal. It's from this period to this period. And, you can't have it both ways. They're either not going to be on camp. They're not going to be on campus during the second semester and be here for the spring. You're going to get them in the summer after they finish school, or we do it in December and all that chaos, and then we do it right after all the spring, practices.
But like you said, Ollie, there's also that time where you go through the spring and you see what you got, and then you can go into the spring transfer portal window. Be like, okay, let's add pieces at this position, rather than just kind of waiting and then being like, well, shoot, this is the hand that we're dealt, and we're going to go into the season with this group.
Yeah, tough tuna. Like, you should have done a better job recruiting and having depth. Like, oh, well, I mean,
tuna.
It's like,
I'm stealing that.
What in the world? I don't know. I just made it up, man. I've never said that before in my life.
Tough tuna.
It's like, we're not strong at kicker. So, well, if we're not strong at kicker, then we don't want that transfer portal, so we can go get a good kicker. No, man, you did a bad job getting a kicker in the other transfer portal or recruiting from the high school level. So, again, tough tuna. Like, you don't get to plug all your holes. So you can't complain about all the things that transpire and having to do it twice when you're the reason why there is 2.
Are you telling the players tough tuna too, where they come in, realize, okay, this is my last year of eligibility, and I'm only going to be a 3rd, 4th stringer? You're like, yeah, man, get better.
Yeah, exactly.
Tough tuna.
Tough tuna.
Work your way up the depth chart, man. Be ready.
Prepare yourself for the adversity of life, brother. You don't just get things. You got to work for them. And if you don't, if you're the 4th guy, if you're a 4th string, there's a reason you're 4th string. All right. It's not the coach. It's you. You're not good enough, or you haven't put in the work to be good enough, or you're not excelling. You're not doing what you need to do off the field.
Or what if they play at a place like Alabama where they got like 4 first-rounders at wide receiver, and they're like, yeah, let me go somewhere else.
We're getting into this age where we think things need to be fair. Things don't need to be fair. And you should have transferred before. I'm not saying get rid of the transfer portal. I'm just saying having one. So if you went your whole 4 years or whatever, and you're, as a senior, still the 5th wide receiver,
tough tuna.
That's what you chose. Tough tuna.
Tough tuna.
Tough tuna, man. This says life is fair.
Fair.
Yeah.
Very, very fair point.
So I think it's a question actually for Brent next time you see him is, I mean, who is motivating this 2 transfer portal rule in football, and why not just have 1? And if it's really because we want to have the kids in the second semester so they can be part of spring practice and they can be part of the team, and then we want to fill our holes after spring practice in case we don't like where we are at some position group, that is a bunch of BS. I think, frankly, this whole concept of we need the players in the spring needs to go away. Get rid of the December transfer portal. Have 1 after all the spring practices are done. And if you're that 6th wide receiver at Alabama and there's a place for you somewhere else, great. You can transfer when the semester's done. You can enroll in your new school, and you can start in the summer like it's been done for a century. Tough tuna.
All right, coming up next, what kind of players is Arizona adding in the transfer portal? We'll address that on the other side. It's officially portal time in college football. The transfer portal is officially open.
I found out whose fault it is. It's going to shock you guys.
Oh, yeah?
NCAA.
Oh,
They decided to implement the 2 transfer windows to streamline the transfer process and provide players with opportunities to explore their options at different points in the academic year.
Man, a blemish on their perfect record.
Just do it one time. And it should be well after the spring game. After the spring game, let them do it. Open it up.
Yep.
And then they can finish their academic year wherever they're at. And then they can go to the summer practices with their new school. I'm sorry if I'm being too logical, but everybody wants a little bit of everything. And I think that two transfer portals, I think it rewards coaches that are not good at recruiting, not good at development, not good at roster building. Yeah, you know what? You're soft at safety. You don't like where the safety position is. Dude, you recruited the safeties. You were the one that decided these guys are the guys. You made them. You weren't good at it. You didn't do a good job. So you're going to have to scheme something that's going to hide your weakness. You can't be. I just think it's it's overkill, and I think maybe some coaches are their own worst enemies. They complain about it, but they're too scared to not have it. And Brent Brennan is not one of those guys, because I know for a fact he thinks one transfer portal is the way to go.
He said it last week. He's like, I think we're moving towards the one transfer portal, which is kind of more ideal. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Brent Brennan is a big fan of the one transfer portal. But as far as this period goes, just looking at what I've seen in spring, position groups that I think Arizona will explore. It's not necessarily a knock on the guys that they have right now. I just think that they could have some depth, some competition, really bolster certain position groups. And I think first and foremost, they got to look at center. They got to look at Noah Fafita's counterpart on the offensive line. Grayson Stovall, he's been the backup to Josh Baker for the last few years. He's got one game of experience. That was against NAU. But is he the guy that you can rely on in a 12-game season? I don't know. The other guy that they have at center is Kayana DeCambra, who transferred in from Hawaii, but he played guard and tackle. He doesn't really have any experience at center. And Grayson Stovall, he was out yesterday with an undisclosed injury, and DeCambra was taking reps at center, and he was solid. He had some snapping issues at the start of spring, but that's gotten better. But do you go out in the portal and see if you could find a guy that's played the position for a year or two in college football? So I think I look at center as a position potentially of need for Arizona. Cornerback as well. I like Javion Cole and Michael Dansby, the 2 transfers that they got. I like Marquise Rose-Killebrew coming back. It's curious to see what's happening with Trayden Stukes, because Stukes kind of plays more of a nickel slot cornerback role. But Aiden Garnes, the transfer from West Virginia, the guy that donated bone marrow a couple years ago when he was at Duquesne, he's been awesome at that position. So I'm wondering, do you put Stukes at outside corner, have Aiden Garnes play slot? But then I look at, some of the other guys behind them, and, while they are good, I do think, man, they could add some depth there, maybe a veteran guy. They also do have 4 freshman cornerbacks coming in, but do you want to rely on freshmen a ton this year? I think getting a veteran cornerback in that mix would be ideal. And then kicker as well. Michael Salgado Medina, he's a sophomore. He's growing. Tyler Loop was kind of in a similar role when he first started. Didn't really have the range, is going through some growing pains, but will Salgado Medina shoulder punting and kicking? Craig Nivar, the special teams coordinator, said he would rather have, one guy specialize in one thing.
I agree.
So whether it's a kicker or a punter, we'll see what Arizona adds in the portal.
Yeah. And it just pains me that if the day and age where maybe development is dying, and again, this is not Arizona, but it's we could develop this guy to be better, or I could just go get a guy from another school. It pains me. So, but I hope we get a good punter or kicker. So good luck.
Happy portal season. Yeah. See y'all tomorrow.